All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I especially want to go ahead and thank Group 5 because they kind of already introduced us. We are from the Career Management Center. My name is Kashvu.
I'm Hassan Mustafa.
Part1of2,
Kenny Wynn.
Joanna Triangle. And Sabrina Ramirez.
And today what we're going to do is we're going to give you 5 tips to crush your next interview and get you hired. Before we get started on our presentation, however, can I see a hand of how many of you guys knew about our Career Expo from a couple of weeks ago? Okay, that's a pretty good number. Now, how many of you guys actually attended and actually went there? So, about 4 or 5 of you guys. How many of you ended up with an offer?
Does it count if I was at the booth?
No. Well, it depends. Did you give any offers?
No.
Okay, I guess not then. But since we had such a low number of people who actually got accepted and and hired, that's what this whole presentation is about today. So buckle in because we're gonna have a lot of fun and we are here to get you guys hired. So, this just worked. All right, so today our agenda is going to be, we're actually going to start off with a little bit of a brain teaser. My colleague Kenny will be going through that. Then we'll be going through a debriefing of what our terminology means, just so we can have everyone on the same page. Then we'll be going over our 5 points, which is maintaining a calm demeanor, natural gesturing styles, avoiding distracting gestures, practicing delivery, and adapting to the situation. So a little statistics before we get into our brain teaser is 48% of people reported positive changes after incorporating brain teasers in their daily lives, such as greater self-confidence. So Kenny, why don't you take us through our brain teaser and also tell us how it's applicable to getting a job.
Okay, so how many of you have heard of the Wonderlic test?
Say again?
Wow, the Wonderlic test. So it's a brain teaser that some company will give out before your interview. So it's not graded. You're not gonna, if you fail, it doesn't matter. They're still gonna hire you if you have the qualification. All it does is it allows them to see that you can think outside the box. So I need 2 volunteers, please, to come up. 1, and I need a lady, please, just to be even. There you go. So I'm gonna set this game out for you guys. You're gonna have 2 minutes. Please come up. I'll explain the activity to you guys. So we have these coins here laid out. So one side will have 5 coins laid out, and the other side will have 4 coins like this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your job is to move 1 coin, any coin you want, to make both sides count up to 5. You have 2 minutes. The reason 2 minutes is because that's how long it took our group to, an average, to do it. Both sides. Think outside the box.
Everyone else think of a solution because you might have a chance to win a prize.
And if you get it solved correctly, you can have some chocolates. Take
Get a
this.
special prize. It took some of us forever to figure this out.
You guys can verbally collaborate
You
as
can
well.
collaborate,
For
talk
sure.
to each other.
Talk to each other, work it out.
Remember, think outside the box.
And if anyone is that curious, you can also feel free to step up and check it out as well.
Anyone has seen this game before?
I can tell you I could not figure it out.
It did take us for a doozy. So we're gonna give you guys just another minute to figure it out. Do we have any volunteers who want to come and help? Come on up. Come on, Gonzalo. Let's see how you can do.
So the rules are I need to move only 1 coin and to make both lines equal, right?
Five. Yes.
Both adds up to 5 on both sides. Both sides will be 5. 5, 5, 5.
What is that?
It's a very fun activity.
It is super
It does
fun.
make you think a little bit.
Because you have to move 1 to make it 5, 5.
Correct.
You can only move
5
one
this
coin.
side, 5 this side.
Yeah, this is fine.
But you're outside of the line. It has to be that same shape.
Oh,
Okay, 30 more seconds, you guys. Let's see if we can figure it out. You know what? Because you guys are so interested, I'm gonna give you another minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic!
Yes.
That is exactly how it
That
is.
was wow. What's your name?
1, 2,
Jennifer.
3, 4,
Jennifer,
5.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining. That was really fun. Have some chocolate. Winners,
Jennifer, come here with your
Yeah.
help yourself, please.
I'm gonna just throw this out here for you guys.
Curious people deserve chocolate too.
Yeah, all you guys are winners. You guys collaborated as a team. So that was a lot of fun, right? Who's gonna probably use this with their friends? Anyone? Just us? I think all of us showed our friends this actually. We all really enjoyed it a lot. Sorry. I'm not sorry. Okay, so we're gonna go through our debriefing now. So all of our slides are either gonna say do this, which means that these are actions that you're gonna follow, and they're gonna say get hired, which means they're actions that will actually help you get hired. And our other slides will say don't do this, because these are actions you don't wanna follow because you won't get hired. That's why. So we're gonna go into our first point, which is maintaining a calm demeanor, which my colleague Karthik will be going over.
Hey guys, I'm Karthik. One of the biggest obstacles that prevent interviewees from performing is nerves. It's important to know how to manage your nerves, or you can mess up in an interview, no matter how much you prepare for it in ways that you didn't expect. I'm going to give you all advice to help maintain a calm demeanor during an interview and throughout life, because maintaining a calm demeanor during any interaction makes you seem more competent and gives you credibility. And during an interview, increases your chances of getting hired, which is what we're here for. So first, I'm going to review some mental factors that can help you maintain a calm demeanor, and then some physical factors. Meditating is the best advice I can give to help maintain a calm demeanor. And I can say that because I have a name tag in my car that says Meditation Master. So meditation is simply exercising the brain to make it more powerful. One way is to just breathe in and out through your nose and erase any thought that comes to your mind. Anytime you realize your mind wanders, just bring your attention back to breathing in and out. It's difficult in the beginning to meditate, just as going to the gym for the first time is difficult, but consistent practice of meditation will lead to increased focus, contentness, and energy, and will help you maintain a calm demeanor during any interview. Meditation doesn't make you happy, but it raises your capacity to be happy, and it gives you control of your thoughts and emotions. To show you that the mind really is the most powerful tool that we have, I have a little activity. So notice, this is just a Mercedes key tied to a string. But I'm gonna move it with my mind, without moving my hand at all. So right now, I want it to move side to side. So give it a second, it's gonna start moving side to side. That's crazy. Now I want it to move forward to back. So give it a second. Now it's moving forward to back. Now I want it to move counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Now it's moving counterclockwise. That's crazy.
Damn, that's Harry Houdini right there.
Just to show you guys that this isn't a fad, can I have one volunteer to come up here and try it really quick? Anyone want to do it?
Oh,
Anyone?
come on.
Anyone? I'm gonna pick someone. Thank you, thank you. What's your name?
Hawa.
Oh, wow. Alright, take it just like I took it. Hold it from right here. Now, think of a direction that you want it to go. Just think. Give it a second. So what direction are you thinking of right now?
Side to side.
Side to side. Wow.
Girl, she moving.
Alright. Think of one more direction. One more direction.
That's slick.
One more direction. Any direction you want. Don't tell me yet. What direction are you thinking of? It was going forward to back. Wow, that's how powerful the mind can be. Thank you. Everyone give a hand to Hawa. It might seem like a fad, but your brain subconsciously sends the signals to your hand and it just moves that way. Another way to stay confident is to create a positive self-image of yourself. We don't often think about how we perceive ourselves. By creating a habit of positive self-talk, you reinforce yourself to yourself. Or just by imagining that you're a confident person, you can walk into any interview and just be so. Nervousness comes from adrenaline being pumped through our body. You all know how being nervous is. Your hands get clammy, your armpits start to sweat, you stutter words you normally wouldn't, you start to stiffen up. Everyone is more comfortable in certain situations over others, and identifying your nervous tendencies preemptively can allow you to make small changes in real time that can make nerve-wracking interviews at big corporations seem a little less threatening. And the only way you can achieve that is by practicing. Practice mock interviews. Prepare by anticipating what the interviewer would ask you. Know about the company. But most importantly, go to lots and lots of interviews. It's okay if you're rejected. You don't lose anything but your time. But from each failure, you gain valuable experience, which will guarantee that you will perform better with each interview. Talent is a pursued interest. In other words, anything you're willing to practice, you can do, and you can be good at. And Sabrina will be going more into practicing delivery later. Now some physical factors for you guys. Exercising is like practice. A good way to put it is exercise is practice being uncomfortable. So by exercising consistently, you're preparing to perform better in any unexpected situation. You also get more confidence than any other method can give you. Exercising on the day of your interview can reduce and help you manage your nervous tendencies better. Breathing deeply in and out also helps you calm down and lowers your heart rate. A method to quickly boost your confidence is to hold a power pose. According to Harvard professor Amy Cuddy, holding your body in a power pose like this alters your hormones and makes you feel more powerful and less stressed. Can everyone do that with me for a moment? Put your arms out like this. Stretch your chest out. Put your arms out. You guys are good.
Don't pull muscles though.
If you do that right now, you can do it right before any interview, and just for a moment. And it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time waster while you're waiting for your interview to start, and it'll give you just a little confidence boost. As a bonus, it also gives you the opportunity to practice not caring what other people think about you, which is an essential skill. My senior year, I auditioned to be drum major, which is the highest position in a band, and it included an interview. I held a power pose for 2 minutes right before going into my interview, then went into my first interview ever, and I really impressed the directors. And I was surprised. It was a pleasant surprise because I wasn't feeling very confident before. So power pose really does work. One of my biggest fears used to be getting a quavering voice during a presentation because I once had a panic attack once and I messed it up completely. It was a horrible, horrible experience. Once I learned how to prepare my voice, I was able to better manage it. So there's vocal warm-ups like inflection switching, where you raise the pitch of your voice up and down, or saying the vowels, or you can say the vowels very slowly and pronounce like this. A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y. Which does the same thing, but also warms up your facial muscles, which is really important. Because it also allows you to make natural expressions. Familiarize yourself with your voice and volume level by speaking at different inanimate objects around your room to learn how to project your voice. And also, don't forget, before you speak, take a deep breath, draw in the air from the bottom of your body all the way through your body, and speak slowly and pronounce. Preparing your voice will make a huge difference in how well you speak and allows you to efficiently use this tool that we have right here. Maintaining a calm demeanor is just one of the suggestions we have for you guys today to help you get hired. And we're always here to help you at the CMC. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Karthik. I'm definitely going to try the power pose for my next interview. Are there any tips here that you guys enjoyed? No tips? I know there's a couple of tips, you guys.
I hope so.
Well, we're going to go into our first activity. So everyone should have an activity sheet that looks like this. If you guys look at it, it actually looks like a resume. Wow. So the objective of our activity is to fill out your resume with your group. All responses should refer to your own projects and what you just learned. We will give you guys maybe about 60 to 90 seconds depending on how much time you need, but we're going to go over our first activity. So it says, list activities your group can do before getting ready to present in order to maintain a calm demeanor. Now before we get started, at the bottom where it says skills, that's a little bit of like a helping tool for you. So in that you'll find a couple of different suggestions that you can use to kind of inspire you. So we'll go ahead and give you guys 60 seconds starting now. And if you do have questions, feel free to let us know. We're always here to help.
You guys can use that Ch6.
So we're going to give you guys maybe about 30 seconds more, unless anyone thinks that you might need another minute. I don't think so, right? No. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and cap the time there. Does anyone want to share different ways that their group can maintain a calm demeanor?
Dance.
I'm sorry, how?
Dance.
Dance? I like that. It's really similar to exercise and the power pose kind of combined together, right?
Yeah, but not a very good idea right before an interview because that'll get you kind of, your heart rate kind of up and you'll get kind of more nervous.
No, it could be a leave behind the leader 20 minutes beforehand. It doesn't have to be a very vigorous thing.
You're right, good idea.
Yeah, no.
It would make you more confident.
To each their own as well.
You
Go ahead, Gonzalo.
You deserve chocolate.
Dress comfortably.
Dress comfortably, yeah. In fact, another thing kind of jumping off of that is at least wear a day or two before what you plan on wearing to your interview, right? Because you want to make sure these clothes feel comfortable. Last answer right here, sir. Thank you.
Motivate each other. You just say, give each other some motivating words. I like to dance too a little bit.
Motivation and dance. No, I definitely agree. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, okay. You'll be our last one, okay?
Yeah, you can talk to somebody you love and you motivate you like your dad or your spouse.
Yeah, definitely. Always having like a conversation with my mom helps me so much, for sure. I completely agree. Thank you so much. So now we're going to move on to natural gesturing styles, which my colleague Joanna will take over from here.
Okay, so to talk about your natural gesturing styles, when you actually go into the interview, they're going to be reading your body language as well. So for the three main things you want to focus on is to have an open body demeanor, body language, and to able to have eye contact and recognize your facial tone. Also, your facial expression, and then you want to make sure you have a friendly voice tone. So for the body language, you want to have your arms open, but not like waving out like this, but to draw into conversation. Like if you're stuck on something, but you want to continue, you do something like this with your hand. And then if you want to speak to someone, or when you're sitting down with the interviewer, let's say Kenny is interviewing me right here. So I will want to look at him in the eye and not look away or shy away. I want to look at him in the eye and we have a friendly face on. I do suffer from a RBF, it's the resting become face. So to help with that, I always think of something that is happy. So I'll think of something like maybe some puppy videos that I just saw, a really hot guy I just saw walk by, maybe some alcohol, but whatever makes you happy, you can always make that tailored to yourself. So just to get like an idea, what kind of makes yourself happy? Can I get some volunteers in the room? Yes.
A big, huge cookie.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
And
A big, huge cookie.
a big, huge cookie. Anything else? Yes.
Dogs.
Oh, I love dogs too. Yes. So anything that makes you happy, because when you subconsciously think of that, you automatically have maybe a smile on your face. And the other thing you want to be aware of is the tone of your voice. You don't want to have a monotone voice, but to always think like, when you see that thing, it's like, oh, you're happy, okay. And that basically represents that you are, one, respectful when you look at them in the eye, and you're friendly with the tone of your voice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joanna. She actually is pulling us into our second activity. So we're going to go ahead and get back with our groups now, and we're going to go ahead and list different ways your group can practice different natural gesturing styles. So we'll give you guys 60 seconds since last time that was enough time for you guys. And also don't forget at the bottom, we do have our little cheat sheet, little word bank down there for you to pull ideas off of as well. And if you guys ever want to discuss anything, let us know. We're here to talk to.
I like your shirt. I just saw that.
Oh, no, thank you.
All right, so do you guys think you need maybe 30 more seconds, or are we good to end the activity right now? Okay, I think we're good to end the activity. So who wants to volunteer and just tell us a couple of different ways that you can practice natural gesturing styles when you present? Oh, yes ma'am.
Open body language.
Open body language, yeah, definitely. Oh, go ahead, sir.
I like to talk with my hands.
I also talk with my hands. Have you ever been on the phone where you were talking to someone and you're like, yeah, exactly, and then you're like, oh, they can't see my hand gestures.
Yep.
It happens when I make presentations for work all the time. Go ahead, sir.
You can do a mock interview.
Definitely. You know where you can do a mock interview, right? At the CMC. Exactly.
Management Center.
Exactly. Last one, sir. Go ahead.
It has to help you dress the part, though.
Of course.
Or consider the gestures natural.
No, I definitely agree. It'd be kind of weird going into an interview with sweatpants on, right? Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much. So we're going to go ahead and then move on into avoid distracting gestures. Isan will do this, and we really wanted to break the natural gesturing versus the avoiding into two spaces because we really want to emphasize how important they are individually.
Hello guys. So I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with the saying, actions speak louder than voices. So I mention this because when you're presenting yourself to an interviewer, you send off two kinds of messages. One as which is your voice that's transmitting verbal messages such as a vast amount of info that's conveyed in your appearance. Secondly, is your manner based off of your physical appearance? Now, I say this because y'all are familiar with positive style dressing from my fellow peer, Joanna. So I'm gonna mention examples of some avoiding distracting gestures that y'all should not implement in an interview. So one is which is the chest crossing. The chest crossing gives off that vibe that you're not interested. Can you imagine just being in an interview, just being like this and being like, yeah, yes sir, correct. No, that doesn't work out. He's gonna think, oh, I don't want this guy. Another one is the hands in the pocket. Come on. You're just like, yeah, I'm too cool for this. I'm closed off. I give off that nonchalant vibe. He's gonna be like, I don't want someone working for me in the corporate world doing this. Believe it or not, the third one, there's actually people that will be clapping their hands after a 2-hour, 1-hour interview, thinking that they deserve a round of applause, but I'm pretty sure most of y'all have common sense to not do that. And then lastly is the most common one. It's the hand tapping or the knee tapping. This comes from lack of confidence. I've actually done that in an interview one time with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I was surprised I didn't get the position, but I got feedback afterwards. So I tell you this because, for instance, even my personal life story, people will think just because they can answer technical questions and meet all the requirements and all the criterias, and they believe they can get the job. That is incorrect. So I'm trying to end on a good note by letting you guys know. Avoid distracting gestures. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isan. Has anyone noticed themselves doing these kind of gestures? I used to be really nervous, and I would do the whole knee tapping thing where my leg would shake so much that my chair would shake so much, and then I would be shaking so much. Does anybody go through that also? Yeah, right? So that's why we're gonna go into our third activity where we're gonna list these things out, because the more aware we are, the more we can work on them. So now we're gonna list with our group the ways your group can avoid distracting gestures. It can be for your next interview, it can be for your next presentation. It really applies to it all. So we're gonna give you guys another 60 seconds because it really seems to be working for you. And we are always here for questions. All right, do you guys feel like you need maybe 30 more seconds, or are we good to move on? We're good? Awesome. So who wants to share with us how they're gonna avoid distracting gestures? Yes.
So one that I always notice that always cracks me up, and I'm sure I do it too without me knowing, is swaying side to side when you're presenting. So I'll see the presenters, they're all just doing this, and they just don't realize it.
Oh, wow.
They know they're nervous or whatever.
I've never,
So there's that was distracting.
yeah, I'm doing it because I'm trying to see how it feels, you know? I'm just like, oh, okay. No, I totally get that. Go ahead.
Another one, people, like, I did an interview for somebody once, and they were putting their hands in their mouth almost after every single sentence. It's like they like try to talk with their hands in their mouth.
Okay, so she had someone who was, I'm sorry, was it the interviewer or the interviewee?
I was interviewing them.
Okay, so she was interviewing someone who kept putting their hands in/close to their mouth. That is really interesting.
And it was really disgusting. I was like, that's why you didn't get hired.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can understand that. Go ahead, ma'am.
Like doing this.
Oh yeah, scratching the head. It seems like they're always questioning something, right? Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Last person.
I'm just similar to that. I play with my hair a lot when I'm nervous. So if I know I'm gonna be like nervous for an interview, I'm like, let me put it in a
Right. No, that's a great way to work around that. Thank you so much for sharing that. So now we're going to move on to our fourth part, which is practicing your delivery. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Sabrina, who's going to go over that for you guys.
Hey guys, so practicing delivery is very crucial to crushing an interview. Small nonverbal gestures can be the difference between landing a job and not getting it. So the first point is to be familiar with your resume. When you're familiar with your resume, you're able to talk about your achievements and work history with significantly more ease. You're able to discuss with the hiring managers what projects you worked on or jobs you did, why you did it, and the outcome of it. This is really important because there are so many people who lie on their resume nowadays. By not being familiar with your resume and what's on it, you can be blindsided by a question, then the hiring manager will think you're lying about your achievements or work history. The second point is to look in the mirror and analyze how you look when you speak. Studies show that many people can sense the mood or attitude of the person who is speaking by either their voice, their attitude, or face expressions. Practicing in the mirror gives you the opportunity to look at your face expressions and address anything that needs to be addressed. You can significantly increase your chances of landing a job with just a few adjustments. You also need to practice eye contact. Too much eye contact kind of freaks people out. However, too little eye contact makes you seem dishonest. The right amount of eye contact can make you look more memorable and, in the end, more hireable. But how do you practice eye contact? Start integrating it with your everyday life. When you go to the grocery store, look at your cashier in the eyes and say thank you when you're done paying. In fact, I read an article in Forbes about how you should even follow the 30-60 rule. You should have more eye contact when you're listening and less when you're speaking. The next point is to learn to not say as much. Something that I personally do to say significantly less is to fill it in with a little bit of blank space. What that means is when I think or know I'm going to say instead I just don't say anything at all. Does anyone know the impact this has on the person you're talking to? What do you think you'll do if you take a small 1 to 2 second pause when you're speaking?
Does anybody know? Go ahead.
People will notice and start listening.
Right. They'll lean in a little bit more and pay more attention. You definitely want the attention of the person who's hiring you because it'll go back to making you more memorable and it'll increase your chances of getting hired. Like the things you should do, there's always things you shouldn't do. Even though I can make a huge list out of it, I'm really just going to limit it to just this because these are the most important ones. Absolutely do not wing it. You won't be prepared. The hiring manager will know you're not prepared and the sloppiness will show. This is going to make it really hard to sell to them. But why? Why does this matter? It really all goes back to the credibility. You won't be credible, your work won't be credible, and you won't get hired. The next point is do not lack enthusiasm and don't refuse to smile. When you're lacking enthusiasm, you're uninterested. If you're uninterested, then why would you get hired? It leads to the interview wondering, do you even want to be hired? Do you even want to be here? Lastly, do not make eye contact. What I mean is try to make eye contact with your interviewer. The most important part of getting hired is being able to trust that person you are hiring. In this case, that person is you. Generally, when you don't make eye contact with someone, it means that you are dishonest, they lack confidence, and are shy. It pulls into question whether your education or work experience is true or not. So with all that being said, make sure to practice on your delivery skills.
Great, thank you so much, Sabrina. How many people have actually just, winged it when they came to their interview? Maybe you had like an exam the day before, or maybe you had like an exam the day after. Does anyone actually go through this? Can I please know about that? Like how you just wing an interview? I just want to know because I usually take days and days to prepare.
I don't know. I've gone through so many jobs that I've done so many interviews, so I kind of know what I expect. So I kind of just you know, maybe the day of, just do a quick little activity beforehand and get myself kind of unnervous. But since I've done it so much, it's kind of, you know, maybe much for a more professional job, you know,
Yeah.
won't wing it. But for some other jobs, you know, when I know someone in there or know a little bit about the job, I kind of just wing it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
One time in another city that actually has public transportation system, I had 2 job interviews for completely different roles. And I committed the mistake of not reviewing the address. And happened that one was, let's say, East Parker, and the other was in West Parker. And I ended up in the wrong neighborhood, like not finding the address for one of the interviews. Finally, I took a couple of minutes, figured out what was wrong, get to the site. Of course, I arrived late. Of course, I wasn't allowed to get into the first interview, but I was on time because now I have extra time to get to the second one. The problem came when I arrived into the second interview and I prepared my speech, but I gave the speech for the first one, not the second.
Oh my gosh.
So of course, nothing happened, never received the call, and that's the story.
Well, before that ever happens again, come see us. We will definitely work on that with you. Go ahead, ma'am.
I winged an interview for Fossil one time, thinking it's Fossil.
Oh, headquarters, right?
No, like just like the store
okay,
body
okay.
watches and handbags. And so I was thinking, it's Fossil. This is an entry-level position. I'm not going to waste my time with preparing for this. And because I've only ever basically had entry-level positions, and it's typically really easy to get those positions.
Yeah.
And they were asking me, what do you know about our brand? Do you know when our brand came to be? And like all these things, and I was like, I carry a handbag, and I was wearing my Fossil watch, and I was like, this is gonna be plenty, and I did not get that job.
Oh
I did
no.
not get that job.
Yeah, I actually interviewed for Tory Burch when they first opened up about 2 or 3 years ago at the Allen Outlet, and they were like, what do you know about Tory Burch? And I was like, honestly, I don't know much about Tory Burch, but I'm a super hard worker and I will show up. And they were like, you know what? You are so honest. They were like, we like that. So like, they went ahead and hired me, but I completely understand the feeling. I was very unprepared for that as well. So let's go ahead and go into our 4th activity then. We're gonna keep up this whole group activities stuff going on. We're gonna go ahead and list the ways that your group will practice their delivery. And once again, we have the cheat sheet at the bottom if you need it.
So does Thursday work for everybody? Okay.